Welcome dear student in today's session. The topic of today's session is phase rule, and in that phase rule the most important, it is a Gibbs phase rule. So Gibbs phase rule, it is applied for systems that is a one component system, especially the example are given, it is a water system. So in that session I give you an information regarding the Gibbs phase rule, their statements, how it is expressed by using mathematical equation, then terms involved in a Gibbs phase rule, that is number of phases, number of components and number of degree of freedom. So let us try to understand that phase rule, especially Gibbs phase rule. I am going to today's presentation. So phase rule, in that specifically Gibbs phase rule. So before starting the Gibbs phase rule, it is essential to know some basic concept, and that concept are that is in a chemical reaction different systems are present, and that system are as follows. Homogeneous system, most of the reactions are followed homogeneous system when the reactants and products are in same physical states. Then next, heterogeneous system. In a reaction we call that heterogeneous system when the reactants and products are in different physical states, solid, liquid or gaseous. Then most of the time the reactions are called as reversible reaction, or in that reversible systems are present when the forward and backward direction reactions are in equilibrium condition. So they are present in equilibrium condition. Irreversible reaction, the reactions in which forward and backward reactions are not in equilibrium condition. Then on the basis of the conditions which are applied during the chemical reactions, the system are called as isothermal system when the system is followed, or that specific chemical reactions are followed at constant temperature. Isobaric system, the reaction or that systems are followed at constant pressure, we call as isobaric system. Then isochoric system, the system which is followed at constant volume, we call as isochoric system. And isolethal system, the system which are followed at constant composition, or sometimes we call it as concentration. So isolethal system. Before starting the today's topic, that is phase rule, it is essential to know about that terms: homogeneous system, heterogeneous system, reversible system, irreversible system, isothermal system, isobaric system, isochoric system and isolethal system. So phase rule. So substances are present in different phases in heterogeneous system, and such a system can be conveniently studied with the help of generalization. Phase equilibrium, it deals with the study of equilibrium conditions of heterogeneous system. So in phase equilibrium, there is a heterogeneous systems are present. These rules, so basically these rules were deduced on the basis of thermodynamic principle by Willard Gibbs, and later on number of scientists work on that, like Ostwald, Van T'Hoff, Gruziboom and many more. But the name is given the first scientist, that is Willard Gibbs. And basically there is a thermodynamic principles are applied. It relates the condition which must be specified to describe the state of system at equilibrium, that is the state of systems. Also in a phase rule, the important is whatever the variable conditions are present, their relationships are important. And by considering that relationship, that is the plot indicating the relationships between various phases under different temperature, pressure and concentration, is known as phase diagram. So whatever the relations are obtained or variable conditions are applied, by considering that variable conditions, a diagram is drawn, that is graphical presentation, is known as phase diagram. And phase rule, with the help of phase diagram, it useful in predicting the effect of temperature, pressure and concentration on the equilibrium of heterogeneous systems. So that is just introductory part of phase rule. Now I am going to next point, that is the important Gibbs phase rule. So basically Gibbs phase rule, it states that in every heterogeneous system in equilibrium, the sum of the number of phases and degree of freedom is greater than the number of components by 2. So that is the statement of Gibbs phase rule. In that, sum of the number of phases and degree of freedom is greater than the number of components by 2, which is expressed mathematically as P plus F is equal to C plus 2, or a simple way, F is equal to C minus P plus 2. So this is the mathematical equation for Gibbs phase rule. And in that, different terms are involved, that is P is the number of phases, C is the number of components, and lastly F is the degree of freedom. For an accurate and effective interpretation of the phase rule, it is important to understand the meaning of different terms involved in the phase rule like P, T and F. P, phases, T, components, F is the degree of freedom. So first of all, the phases, it is defined as any homogeneous, physically distinct and mechanically separable part of system which separated from other part of system by definite boundary surfaces. So basically in a phase diagram, that boundary surfaces are considered as a curve. So it is defined as any homogeneous, physically distinct and mechanically separable part of system which is separated from other part of system by definite boundary surfaces. And there are number of examples of that phases are present. The first example, a water system. In a water system, so basically water is present in different physical states, that is ice, water and water vapors. So these are the three phases are present, and each of these phase is the distinct, homogeneous and mechanically separable. And this is the equation. Ice, it is a solid phase, it's present in equilibrium with water. Water, it is a liquid phase which is present in equilibrium with water vapor, that is gaseous phase. So these are the three different phases are present in water system. Then second example, a gaseous mixture. Gaseous mixture being roughly miscible in all proportion. Listen, all proportion, they are mixed in a all proportion. Constitutes only one phase. The example is given, that is mixture of hydrogen and nitrogen forms only one phase, that is the gaseous mixture. In all proportion, they get mixed but form only one phase. Then next, two miscible liquids forms one liquid phase only. The example is given, that is ethanol and water. Ethanol and water, when they are mixed together, that is miscible in each other and gives only one phase. The next example, two immiscible liquids. Immiscible, that does not mix together. Two immiscible liquids form two different phases and can be separated by a boundary surface. The example is given, that is benzene and water. Two different layers are observed, benzene and water. Next example, a system containing calcium carbonate, calcium oxide and CO2 has three phases. Calcium carbonate and calcium oxide are the two solid phases and CO2 it is a gaseous phase. So that is all about the phase. The next is a component. It is defined as the smallest number of independently variable constituents by means of which the composition of each phase present can be expressed either directly or in the form of chemical equation. So component is the smallest number of independently variable constituents by means of which the composition of each phase present can be expressed either directly or in the form of chemical equation. And their examples. First example, in a water system, ice, water and water vapor constitutes three phases. Even though there is a presence of three phases, each one of these phases can be expressed using one constituent only, that is H2O. And this is the equation. Ice, equilibrium with water, equilibrium with water vapor. So there are three phases are present, but each phase consists of H2O, that is one component system. Then next is the sulfur system. Basically sulfur consists of four phases, that is rhombic sulfur, monoclinic sulfur, liquid sulfur and sulfur vapor. The chemical composition of all the phase is sulfur. So rhombic sulfur, equilibrium with monoclinic sulfur, equilibrium with liquid sulfur, equilibrium with sulfur vapor. So it is a one component system because in each system there is a presence of only sulfur. Then a mixture of salt and water, that is salt solution. It consists of salt and water. So it is a two component system. The next example, the thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate. So basically the composition of each of these three phases can be expressed in terms of at least any two of the independently variable constituent, that is calcium carbonate solid, calcium oxide it is again solid, and CO2 that is gaseous phase. So in that reaction, the composition of one constituent can be found out by using any two components. The reactions are given: calcium carbonate, equilibrium with calcium oxide plus CO2. And next is calcium carbonate is obtained by mixing CaCO3 plus 0CaO. Calcium oxide. Similar way, the another reaction. Then next is degree of freedom. The third term of the Gibbs phase rule that is F is equal to C minus E plus 2. So in that degree of freedom, it is defined as the smallest number of independently variable factors such as temperature, pressure, and composition of the phases, which must be arbitrarily specified in order to describe completely the state of the system. That is independently variable factors, temperature, pressure, or composition of the phases. And their example, in water system, ice, water, and water vapor constitute three phases. Each of the phase is distinct, homogeneous, and mechanically separable. And it observes that there are a variable systems are present. For each system, there is a degree of freedom, maybe 0, 1, 2, or 3. So on the basis of that degree of freedom, they are univariant, bivariant, trivariant, or zero variant. No specification of conditions is necessary because the three phases can occur in equilibrium only at a particular temperature and a pressure. So these conditions or that factors are important in a Gibbs phase rule, that is degree of freedom. Thank you.